So how's it going, guys? I'm going to be changing my grips on my 2021 Harley-Davidson Street Bob, and I'm going to show you how that's done really quick. And we're going to need some tools to start off with, okay? And these are the tools. So here we go. So you could have either a kit like this. You're going to need a Torx bit. This is going to be a T27, I believe. Yep, T27 Torx bit. You could have it either in a hand driver set like that, or if you want, you could do it with a socket set and just have a T27 Torx bit. Okay, you want something with a little bit of torque, so there we go. I'm going to go with this, but not too much torque because you don't want to be snapping anything or breaking anything off here. Let's take a look and see how we're going to swap out these stock grips that came from the factory. I'm going to try to take these off without damaging them, see if that's possible. If not, you can always just take a razor, cut it off, you know. But this should slide. This one on the throttle should slide right off. This is the fly-by-wire kit, which there's some threads in here at the end that cause it. There's, as you can see, there's only one wire coming down here. That's for the brake cable. It's done by electronics. The throttle's handled by electronics on the fly-by-wire kit. So basically, we just got a couple of Torx bits that we got to take out. We'll loosen up this clamshell, open this apart. Be careful about these. These are soft metal, and we don't want to strip anything out. We don't want to. We want to take good care of this. So I'm going to show you a little trick too. We're going to put that the brake on, and we're going to put a little piece of cardboard in there. I learned that from Revzilla. Thanks for that tip. And we're going to be swapping both sides out, and I'll show you how it's done. Anyway, I forgot to tell you what we're going to be swapping it out for. We're going to be putting in some Kuryakyn. This is the Pro version with the or Premium version, I'm sorry, that has the Throttle Boss on it. Now they do have a version that's called Contour out now. Just so you know what that is, this Throttle Boss here that's on the end, it's bigger, so it comes out maybe about to here. So it's almost like twice the size, just so that you know what the difference is, because I couldn't find anything online. Now, when you open up the box in the passenger side, thinking cars. Okay, so in the on the left-hand side grip, it has a little tube of rubber adhesive in there that they want you to. I don't suggest, this is for the other side, I don't suggest that you put this on here and then try to slide the grip on, because then you're just going to be pushing it and it's going to smear all up. You're better off putting it inside. But we're going to try doing it without it at all. Instead, we're going to use that the method by using a little bit of rubbing alcohol. We're going to put it in there as a lube, and then when it dries up, it should be on there nice and tight. So we're going to need a little time not riding after we install these to make sure that the lube, which is the rubbing alcohol, dries up. And we're going to want to make sure that they're both set at the same thing. We don't want them. We don't want one set up like this, and one set up at this position. See, with the chrome there. So we want them set up about the same. Now, the stock one is black. I got this one that's a mix of black and chrome, just because I do have a little bit of chrome on my bike. My mufflers I replaced with some Vance & Hines mufflers. Now here's the Throttle Boss. As you can see, this is the way it'll look on here. I think that'll look pretty sharp. Now I opted for the smaller one because I didn't know how the bigger one would look on the bike or how it would react, and I really don't need it. As you can see, one thing though, this is not movable. This does not move. Okay, you have to loosen these pieces. These are Allen head bits here. You have to loosen this up after you get this on and in the proper position. You would put this on, and then you put this in the position wherever you want it. It's adjustable in that regard. It's not adjustable while you're riding. So make sure you get it set to where it is that you want it. Okay, that's the way that works. And I'll show you how to do that once we start taking this all apart. So let me put these off to the side for now, and we'll work on taking this off. Okay, so now where are the bits at? Where are the bolts at that we're gonna need? It's not these two bolts that are up front here in front of the master cylinder. We have one back here. There's one back here. I'm doing it without looking at it. Whoop. Not a good thing to do. Let's see. All right, so the one with the master cylinder, that one is the T27. It's a smaller bolt here, and then over here. So let's get the right size ones. Okay, so I got the right size bit here. This is a T25 that's going to fit in here. So this one is T25 here. The front ones are T27. You're not going to need the T27, I don't believe, unless the handlebar grips are too long. So the way we'll find that out is when this goes on, but we'll see. We'll take a look. If it is too long, then we'll have to loosen these up and push that in a little bit. So as you can see, I work outside. So the first step that we're going to do here is we're going to loosen up this side right here, and it is not that tight. So make sure that when you put them back on, you put them on at the same kind of tightness. You don't need to crank down on them. We don't want to strip anything out here. Okay, so whoop. I got my little cardboard trick. Let me do that real quick. So for the cardboard, all we're doing is we're taking a piece of cardboard, got it folded over here, and just going to put on the brake, and I'm going to stick it in the back just so it relieves a little bit of pressure. You can see in here where it's not pushing back on the inner part so that it all pops out on you. Okay, so okay, so as you can see, loosen up. Didn't take much to loosen it up. And I'll just do it with my fingers. I'm not going to take it off all the way unless I have to. I'll take that one out. And there's sensitive components in here, so you really don't want to crank on anything or just pull away at anything. So you can see what's inside right there. Okay, I'm gonna put these parts off to the side. And so you get a little vantage view, see what's going on here. And get you in a little bit closer, shall we? So as you can see, there's a little groove here. I'm trying to move it around. Sorry, trying to navigate the stand here, repositioning this for you. Let you see what's going on. What exactly am I doing? Other than tripping around. Okay, so this part has to come down now, but I don't want to pull on it because this isn't a groove and it's going to slide right off. Okay, so basically you have to squeeze the throttle, and not back here, but in here you put a piece of cardboard in there. Makes it a little bit easier then for this to pull down just a little bit where this groove is out of the groove of the metal piece here. You can see that. Make sure it's below all the way around, and then it slides right off. Okay, and as you can see, this is the fly. Well, maybe you can't. Let me show you. So the end of this, that's the fly-by-wire electronic throttle. So inside of here, there's little grooves all the way down the end if you were to see all the way inside, and those grooves would thread right onto there. So you've got to make sure that the new grip fits onto that, because they've got little grooves in them as well. So if we don't want it sticking out here, because if it is, it'll never turn the throttle, and we need that throttle to be able to turn. So let's get the other piece, the replacement, and we'll put it on here, and we'll just clean this up a little bit, and we'll get that replacement piece on there. All right, so now we got the replacement throttle, or the replacement grip here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen up these bolts and take the end off here. We're going to slide this on, make sure that it's going to fit into the grooves. Everything's going to fit nice where it needs to be. Okay, we could also just try putting it on there, see if it fits. Is it fitting in? Well, you gotta be careful with this. I don't want to force anything up. There we go. Fits into place. It's in the grooves. It actually fits in. No need to loosen this, unless you only need to loosen these pieces here at the end to take this off to adjust the throttle boss. So you see where the throttle boss is on your hand, how the palm of your hand fits on there. That's meant to just rest on there, so it relieves some pressure from your hands. You don't got to squeeze the grip when you're twisting it and riding down the road all the time. So we'll find out if that's in the right position, but let's just get them all on and in together in the right place. Make sure this is lined up where I want it, and the only way to try that out is to sit on the bike and I'll see, and then we'll decide whether we're going to loosen these or tighten these up. And it's just a small hex standard that fits in here. Don't know what size that is, but if you got a piece like this, you got a bunch of sizes on there, and we'll figure it out. All right, so I think that may be in a good spot right there. So how do we get this back on? We'll work that out right now. It's just got to make sure that these things are in place. This is pushed in, but don't force it, and it should go right into place like that. You may have to jimmy it around a little bit, but for me it went right back on. Make sure that you're in the grooves here, so that it's not going to pop off on you. Okay, and make sure that the grooves are set all the way in. All right, so that's good. And then we'll tighten it up, and then it's going nowhere. All right. Me personally, I like to put a little Loctite on everything, so I'm going to put a little drop of Loctite on everything. All right, I just like to do that. It's a bike, it shakes around. So I put just a drop of Loctite on there, the Loctite blue. And then I took both screws and split that one drop between the two. So we're going to put it back on now, put it back together. And I'm not going to crank on it. I'm not tightening it up all the way either. I still got the cardboard in there I want to take out. Make sure this matches up too. Loosen this up just a little bit. Maybe I'll take that cardboard out now. And alright, so we took that piece of cardboard out of the brake there. Got this on, just going to snug it tight by hand. Snug it tight like that. And that's all back together. I'll just put the ratchet on here just to give it a little. Don't want it too tight. I don't want to strip anything out. And Loctite will keep it in place. We don't want to crack any of the metal components here either. So that's good. That's not going anywhere. Clamshells in place. And that side's done. Now for the other side. See, that wasn't that hard. Now for this side, we're just going to have to move the mirror out of the way a little bit. So, oh, maybe not. This one's going to be a little tricky then. Let's see if I could get the mirror out of the way enough to fit that in there. Well, gonna need a little bit of an extension to get that to fit. So this won't work because it won't fit. I need to get a longer piece, otherwise it won't fit past the mirror. So I'm gonna go to the sockets, and we're gonna use the socket set on this one, because for that I have extensions. Alright, so as you can see the difference, I just got a Torx bit screwdriver versus this one. It's much longer, so that should work. So move the mirror a little bit to get a little access. Make sure we get that in there straight. Now this should be a T25. There we go. We got it loose. So that's one we got off. Is there two on this side like the other side? I would imagine that there is. Now I just gotta find it. So this one, we have the top one's right here, and the bottom one is on the closest, is closer to the grip on the bottom. So let's break that loose. Okay. This one seemed to be a little tighter than the previous one. Let's get that off. Just have to get my magnetic parts holder here to hold the screws and my bits. Don't worry, it's rubber coated on the bottom. And break the clamshell apart. However, this is aluminum, so this is not going to be magnetic. So, and this one, just gonna separate that there. All right. Now there's a couple ways you could get this off. You could either blow a little WD-40 or try to get a little alcohol under there, or you can get an air blower to put a little cushion of air for it to slide off on. Let me see how tight, and if they put glue on this sucker at the factory, or how they placed it. Another way is, all last resort, is you slice it with a razor, and it won't be reusable though. But I'm not planning on reusing it anyway, so let's see what we're going to do. I'm going to first try to salvage it. If I can't salvage it, then I'll maybe cut it. So I basically got an injector syringe here. Get these pretty cheap. And some alcohol, rubbing alcohol. Fill that up with it. I don't necessarily need to fill it. And gonna squirt that through there, squirt that in there to try to act as a little lubricant. Make sure you don't got cuts on your hands when you're using this, because that'll sting. And I got some cuts on my hand, of course. So let's try to do this. Okay, make sure you got the half clamshell off to the side. Be careful you don't break any wires or force anything bent. Okay, let me get a screwdriver to try to get under there. So I got a screwdriver, just worked it under the rubber here a little bit, and just inject some of that, and work it around. So inject a little alcohol in there, and it becomes easier to move. And it is coming off. And all that alcohol is through. Okay. So, see if that alcohol is enough to lubricant to help it come off or not, though. And it looks like from the factory they did put glue in there. So I'm just working it around a little bit, not forcing anything too much. And just twist those grips a little bit. Yeah, try to break that glue loose a little bit inside. Yeah, they did put glue in there. It's breaking loose though. Gotta squeeze it, twist it with a little manpower. You look, a little grip in action on there. Okay, so it's mostly loose, just a little caught down here at the end still. So I'm gonna inject a little more alcohol in that. A little more alcohol in that tube. Shouldn't need as much this time. And the alcohol evaporates, so it makes a nice little lube. Take the cap off. Move that up. Alright. And we'll just inject more alcohol in here. Okay. There we go. Just broke loose all the way at the end. There we go. And we slid it off, so now if anybody wants some stock Harley grips, they could be reused. Only got about a few hundred miles on it. So now we'll clean these up. There's some glue on there, some glue residue. Clean that up. And we're going to use the same method to put on the new ones, minus the glue. Alright, so this is getting dark out, so let's try to work quick. I didn't clean any of this up. There's just a little glue residue on here, but I'm just going to give this a try and see. This slides on. And it does. And I don't think that's going to be in danger of going anywhere. Make sure this is out of the way while you put this on. Okay. And it's in the groove. Then we just put the top piece back on. But before I do that, I want to make sure they're both lined up the same way, which I don't think it is. So you want that lined up. You know, you don't want it looking different than the other side. You want them to be about even, you know, when you're lining them up. So I'm going to line them up properly, and then we'll tighten it back up. Okay, so we got these lined up now. I just have to get my keys and straighten out the handlebars to make sure they were lined up right. Don't do it when they're cocked at an angle. So we got this in the rubber groove. There's a rubber groove right here, and this rubber groove is fitting in the slot. As you can see, there's a little slot here, and that rubber groove needs to fit in it. And that'll lock it in place. That's why I didn't put the glue on it. Look at that. It's good there. It's not moving. Once we tighten it down, it's not going to be turning either. Okay. Once again, if you want, put a little bit of a Loctite on there. Actually, this one doesn't really need it. So, put the one in here. For that one, I need the long screw. is a T25 Torx bit once again. Make sure it lines up right. Just get it snug a little bit. Okay, when it's snug, it's not turning anywhere. And then we'll put the bottom one in right here. And for the first time me ever changing grips, and on my brand new bike too. I'd say that this was not that hard of a job. Yeah. You worry, but nothing to be scared about. It's in place, everything's good. Make sure that screw goes in there straight. You don't want to strip it. You don't want it going cockeyed. It seems like it's going in a little cockeyed. Alright. Tighten that down a little bit more. Slowly. And that's going in just fine. Nothing to be worried about. Just don't over tighten it. Get out of the way. Just snug. You don't need to kill it. And then I'll do this side snugger. And that should lock in that rubber grip now. If you turn it really hard, I'm sure you get it to turn a little bit, but it's not going nowhere. And it's not glued on, so if I ever want to take them off and swap them out, it shouldn't be too hard to do. Not like those factory ones that were all glued in with rubber. And that's pretty much it. So let me back up and I'll show you the finished product. So here's what the finished product looks like. All installed from both ends. Looks pretty sharp. I wasn't sure if I should go with all black with the bike, but then again I changed my tailpipes, or not the pipes, but the slip-on Vance and Hines mufflers on there. And I put the chrome ones on there, and that transition from the chrome to the black, it don't look too bad. I mean, if you wanted to, you could get these available in black as well. But so I got a little chrome there. You know, you get the chrome spokes, which shine pretty good. You know, you got a little chrome here. So what the hell? You got a little mix of black and chrome right here. Pretty good. Oh, junk. We in neutral? We are in neutral, so guess what we got to do? We're in business, baby. It's doing its job. Wasn't that hard of a upgrade.